Imagine what would happen to a man who is being bullied into a transformation that would see him embark on a hunt, one that would mark the end of the very bullies who have put him in this state. The story begins 10 years ago, when monsters entered the city through some gates that mysteriously got opened. As the monsters rose, so did the awakened. The awakened started appearing. These awakened people grew to become hunters that will help hunt down the monsters. The awakened are given different ranks according to their powers. Kan Jidong, an S-rank awakened with powers of regeneration, took himself as a loser. At the Awakened Specialization High School, a school meant for the awakened only, Jidong had only the ability to regenerate. This made his peers bully him. The regeneration together with the bullying just hurt Jidong more and more. Whenever he regenerates, the bullies will attack him again and laugh at him. They will laugh over and over till they get tired. The worst part is the fact that after the pain of being bullied, no proof of it is left on his body. Once he is healed, the teachers or even the police won't be able to do anything. This is mostly because this ranked awakened gets special treatment from the government. Jiang keeps on enduring because of one reason, the reason being his mom. His dad died when he was 5. Ever since then, his mom had been his #1 priority. After a stressful day at school, Jiang finally comes home to meet his mom. She asks him how school was. Jiang has to lie to his mom that everything went great. He tells his mom about his dream of one day becoming a hunter, so he could at least make things easy for them. He pleads with her to endure while he is in school before he graduates. Jiang, with his regeneration power, will end up being a C-class ranked hunter. Although he won't make much, but at least he will be able to make things better for his mom. His mom's birthday was all he could think about, at least that's what he thought. Until the same set of bullies attacked his mom and beat her to a vegetative state. The bullies claimed it was a mistake, and they had coincidentally entered his mom's restaurant. The real truth was that they came to the restaurant to flirt with Jiang's mom, but after she had turned them down, they became angry and caused a scene. The scene they caused made it look as if Jiang's mother threw one of the bullies' phone down and broke it. The bully claimed to lose control after seeing his device fall on the floor and had gotten a power outburst. Knowing the truth, Jiang, out of rage and despair, goes to confront the bullies. The type of confrontation in Jiang's mind is not the simple or easy type, rather he wanted a head-on fight with them. Jiang knew that the incident was neither a coincidence nor a rage of any of the bullies' power and ability. Meanwhile, the bullies have a dialogue discussing what they had done to Jiang's mom. One of them is afraid that the woman might die while the other is strong-headed. He says that they were young and no matter what happens would be protected by the government. He also talks about how this wasn't the first time he had done something like this to someone. He gives assurance that nothing would happen to any of them. Their conversation gets interrupted by Jiang, who asks why they did it. The bullies are unsure of who was speaking, and so they ask for an intro. Jiang repeats his question, once more asking why they did it. Jiang, seeing that they are trying to play dumb, finally asks why they did what they did to his mother. One of the bullies laughs at the mention of the word mother. The bully who laughed had the ability to create diamonds, both weapons and jewelry. Seeing that Jiang is compelled to attack them, he wastes no time trying to stop Jiang in his tracks. He quickly makes a diamond spear with his ability and sends it through Jiang's chest. Jiang removes the spear from his chest using his regeneration to its advantage. The bully doesn't stop there. He throws a series of spears at Jiang, all penetrating different parts of Jiang's body. This doesn't stop Jiang, who once again uses his regeneration to its advantage. He keeps on walking towards the bullies, this time with a reduced pace, as the injuries, even when regenerated, still caused him a lot of pain. Another bully named Thor is compelled to use his lightning ability to knock Jiang out. Thor sends a lightning bolt directly at Jiang. Surprisingly, this doesn't stop him. Rather, it only reduces Jiang's pace. Jiang finally drops to his knees before lying face down to the ground. The bullies, seeing that they had defeated him, decide to leave the scene. Jiang, still face down to the ground, gets a hold of one of the bullies' legs and asks the question, "Where do you think you are going?" This makes the bullies rather more frustrated. They decide to finish things up. The bully with the diamond ability makes a fist out of diamonds and uses it to beat Jiang till he becomes immobilized. He then calls on the other bully named Sandman to dig the ground with his powers. Sandman does as he is told. After digging the ground, Jiang is put inside. Then the bully with diamond power fills the dug ground with diamond spikes before the Sandman covers it back. Jiang at this point is buried alive. While the ground is still being covered, Jiang can be heard saying that he will kill all of them. Inside the ground, Ji-young tries his best to get out of his already made predicament. He tries his best to break through. He even tries to kill himself with one of the crystals. All these attempts are useless due to his ability to regenerate. He continues to try to break through. Using his mom as motivation, Ji-young tries harder and harder by the day just to get out of the crystal prison he had been put into. Meanwhile, some years later, the bullies are seen again. This time as hunters doing an interview on live television. The question is thrown to them on the issue of Ji-young's mom. As expected, the bullies lied about the whole thing, saying that at that time they couldn't control their abilities fully. While still answering the question, someone interrupts. It appears to be Ji-young, but this time he looks like a monster. Apparently his ability to regenerate means that his body will get modified and stronger per attack thrown at him. Due to this fact, his exoskeleton had grown outward, making it possible for him to free himself from the crystal prison. The bullies remember mocking him as they made his grave, telling him to get out if he could. Ji-young at this point looked similar to a monster. He tells the bullies that he indeed made it out alive. The bullies seem overconfident. The diamond-powered bully signals the rest to put Ji-young's appearance aside and kill him. Thor tries to use the same lightning ability to attack Ji-young. Although the lightning connects, it does no damage to Ji-young. Ji-young at this point had modified his body to withstand most attacks. Ji-young wastes no time to behead Thor with little stress. He uses a little but overly powerful strike to behead Thor. Ji-young then turns his attention to the Sandman. The Sandman tries to use his powers on Ji-young. He tries to cover Ji-young in a sand trap. This doesn't work at all, and so Sandman ends up facing the same fate as Thor. Seeing that both his allies have been killed, the bully with diamond powers tries to intervene. He uses a diamond-coated fist to hit Ji-young. This attack is useless. Seeing the weakness of his attack, the bully tries summoning something similar to a diamond spear ring. The spears move in the direction of Ji-young. At this point, it looked like Ji-young was a magnet for the spears. Penetrating Ji-young from all angles, the spears cause a great deal of damage to him. Or at least, this is what the bully thought. Ji-young stands up shortly after the attack, this time looking more relentless and hell-bent on taking revenge for his mom. The bully notices this, and so creates a crystal-made suit for his body. He then continues the attack on Ji-young. Unlucky for him, one of the attacks is intercepted by Ji-young, who catches the bully's hand. Ji-young detaches the hand from the bully's body. The bully, out of desperation, uses his final attack on Ji-young. As expected, the attack is useless and doesn't affect Ji-young in any way. Ji-young at this point, tired of playing games, throws one of the spears the bully had earlier thrown at him. The spear penetrates right through the bully's chest. The bully falls to the ground. Ji-young then finishes the job with a couple of strikes to the bully's body. While attacking the bully, he screams and begs for forgiveness. But at this point, Ji-young is far from accepting any apology of any kind. Ji-young makes sure that the bully sees his face before ending his life. The bully, after seeing Ji-young's face, is filled with disbelief and regret. Ji-young goes back to the hospital his mom was put in. He is surprised to see that his mom had been in a coma all these while. His mom looks so helpless. Ji-young storms out of the hospital feeling down and angry. Time has passed, and some Japanese hunters seem to have killed some monsters inside the gate. The team of hunters included 4 men and a woman. The woman apparently is a novice. This was her first time being inside the gate. The men approached her, trying to take advantage of her. She tries to beg, but the men are persistent. Just then, something comes out of one of the gates. The thing appears to be a monster. The Japanese hunters are baffled that such a creature could come out of the gates. Unknown to them that the thing they thought was a monster is actually Ji-young. Without much announcement, Ji-young enters a killing spree. He starts by beheading one of the men. This alarms the rest of the Japanese hunters, who proceed to attack him. Ji-young wastes each and every one of the male Japanese hunters. The woman at that point thinks maybe Ji-young came to save her. She thanks him but has to keep quiet after being beheaded by her once-foreseen hero. Ji-young's reason for doing this at this point is unknown but later explained. It appeared that after taking his revenge by killing the bullies, Ji-young had an encounter with the head of the Korea Hunters Association, Sim Jae-yeon. Sim had claimed to be watching out for Ji-young ever since the incident of him being buried. Ji-young didn't believe it and so tried to end Sim's life at the spot. Seeing his rage, Sim quickly opens up about how she could save Ji-young's mother from her condition. On hearing this, Ji-young holds back his attack. He allows Sim to finish speaking. Sim wastes no time to make reference to her ability of being an S-class ranked hunter with healing powers. Sim claimed to be the only awakened hunter to have such power. She also says that she has been the one keeping Ji-young's mom alive in the hospital for so long. Sim tells Ji-young that she can save his mother's life if only he helps the country with an issue. The issue she talked about was the problem Korea and Japan were facing. The gates which monsters used to enter cities were now being used by nations as pathways to fight wars with hunters. The Japanese hunters were invading Korea, but the Koreans couldn't fight back due to the lack of evidence. Sim states that if the Koreans fight back, then a war will be called upon between the two nations. To avoid this conflict, the Korean Association of Hunters had come up with an idea to use Ji-young as a monster to attack the Japanese hunters. Sim assures Ji-young that if he becomes a monster to fight the Japanese hunters, then she will heal his mother and make her recover fully. Back at the Japanese Prime Minister's residence, the Minister of Defense Ryuzaki Judo is furious and confused. He asks the #1 hunter in Japan, Ikosai Keijuru, if there are any strong monsters within the gates. He asks the minister that there aren't any powerful monsters. Ryuzaki is forced to ask why the hunters don't make it back alive. Ryuzaki is shocked because the hunters being sent were hunters of elite rank, and not even one made it back alive. Seeing the disappointment in the minister's eyes, Keijuru takes it upon himself as a responsibility to take down whatever threat you will find within the gates. He asks his apprentice to get ready his sword and give it to him. His apprentice, out of fear, gives an opinion to Keijuru. She asks Keijuru to take some hunters with him in case of any serious issue. Being strong-headed, Keijuru ignores her and takes up his sword. He opens one of the gates and walks through. At the entrance of the gate, Keijuru sees some minor monsters. He ends the lives of these monsters effortlessly. Keijuru is sure that the thing that was killing the elite hunters isn't minor monsters. He kept on moving forward. Finally, he stumbles upon Ji-young and tries a small attack on Ji-young, but sees that it has no effect on him. He applauds his exoskeleton, saying that it is indeed sturdy, before actually unleashing his true attacks at him. He conjures up something known as the first and second moon before slashing his sword in the direction of Ji-young. The attack hits Ji-young, but as expected has little effect on him. He tries to send out the third moon, but is blocked by Ji-young, who tries to attack Keijuru with one of his strikes. Keijuru catches him in his tracks. He breaks off one of his arms while saying that his sword could penetrate even through diamonds. He doesn't hesitate before beheading Ji-young. At this point, he feels overwhelmed with pride, saying that how could his co-partners lose to something like that. Ji-young sees his life flash before his eyes. He feels like he should just give up, but something enters his head. The story of his dad filters into his memory, on how his dad was a busy man but still kept on putting a smile on his face. The issue that led to his dad's death. It all came to him, the reason for his dad's death. Everything came to him at once. He caused his dad's death. He also caused his mom to cry while he was small. He remembered the promise he made to his mom when he realized that he wasn't awakened. Ji-young at this point knew that his promise and reason to live had not been fulfilled yet. All these scenarios motivated him to do something he had never done before. Ji-young regenerates himself after being beheaded. He struggles and bites Keijuru on the leg. Being so baffled at this point that even after being beheaded, Ji-young could regenerate and still muster up enough energy to bite him on the leg, Keijuru decides to use an all-out attack. He makes a series of strikes that reaches the 12th moon. The strikes are so much that they completely obliterate Ji-young. Keijuru is shocked on the type of power Ji-young had. Apparently, he had overestimated him. He is still in shock that after cutting off his head, Ji-young could still regenerate. He shakes off the disbelief, thinking everything is over. Keijuru gets proven wrong once more as Ji-young again regenerates and attacks him. This time, Ji-young gets the best of Keijuru as he cuts off his head. Meanwhile, on the other side of the gate in Japan waited for the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, together with other ranked and skilled hunters of the Ministry of Defense, were all waiting for the arrival of Keijuru. The Prime Minister planned to send all the troops into the gate to fight the monster inside the gate with Keijuru. Apparently, it had been 3 days since Keijuru entered the gate. The Prime Minister at this point grew impatient and wanted to check on Japan's #1 hunter. He opens the gate and is about to send some troops to check the place, but is received with a surprise. The surprise is the head of Keijuru. Everyone present is in shock at what could have killed the #1 hunter in Japan. Just then, Ji-young walks out of the gate. Everyone is baffled to see such a creature come out of the gate. Ji-young wasted no time as he attacks the Prime Minister. Back at the Korean Association, Sim is worried that Ji-young could have killed Jumeng's son. She is aware of the consequences if Japan finds out that Korea is involved in this. She reasons for sending Ji-young to Japan due to the fact that he was able to defeat their #1 hunter and even cut off her head. Sim seems confident, or rather too confident. The attack by Ji-young to the Prime Minister is not a warning gesture, as he goes for the Prime Minister's head. Ji-young succeeds in beheading him, or so it seemed. It appears that the Prime Minister had other abilities up his sleeve. Abilities which included regeneration. The Prime Minister is also known as Ryuzaki Judo, the #0 hunter in Japan. A triple rank S hunter couldn't be killed just like that. Ji-young watches as Judo regenerates fully just before he hits Ji-young with one of his signature strikes. If you like this recap, do let me know in the comments, and obviously leave your likes too. Do not forget to share with your friends and subscribe. Above all, activate your notification bell so you don't miss the next recap when it drops. Until next time, do take care and stay safe.